Okay, hi. I'm gonna do a third part of this. I want to come back to this. It's a few days later, and the child reverse brought something to mind, brought someone to mind in particular. And I do feel like I need to put that information into the video, but I'm going to wait to see whether I'm going to open up this conversation. I did go to, I've brought Susan Shepherd in, her cards, her Phoenix deck, for cultural background. This is all, she does past life work, but I'm going to use it as, it's to do with cultures around the world. So I'm going to see what energy, if I can get a geography coming in on this at all, where from, we'll see. I did get a card from a deck that's probably the most important deck to me, the most important collection to me. Mel Brown out of Australia. She's Aboriginal, so she probably doesn't call it, well, her book refers to it as Australia. I don't want to try to invoke it's not for me to use any Aboriginal energy in this. I realize that, but I did want to, because she deals multiculturally, I'm bringing her in as separate from that. Like, not that you can separate someone from that, but if you get what I'm saying, I'm not trying to appropriate anything. I'm bringing her in as a spiritual, her ancestors, but her work as a spiritual guide. So I'm not trying to affiliate, I'm not trying to ingratiate anything or appropriate anything, but I do work with her. Her cards are the most important healing cards to me, and because there's a child involved. So let's say that I brought this card in for my own personal advice, because I do rely on her cards, her energy, her ancestors for that, because I answer to them. And so the illusions card came out. If I feel like there's a need to get another card from that deck, I will. But I'm going to read from the illusions card right now, just to set the tone. And then we'll get into, because I want to be clear on, because there is a child involved in this, or children involved in this, and because that's going to be, that's the sorest point of all, for all sides. So illusions are truth in different variations. I'll put this in front of the camera. I don't know why the camera cut out right then, but that's a message. Okay. Illusions are truth in different variations. The truth of a situation may not be your truth, but it is the truth for someone else. And this is what creates illusions. For things may not be what they seem, only what you understand them to be. Our illusions are not negative, provided you understand, or your illusions are not negative, provided you understand others may have different illusions. Therefore, everything can be subjective. No matter how clear something is for you, others may view it differently. Their views are based on their understanding of the situation and the perceptions they hold. Neither is wrong nor right. It's simply your truth. So, explanation of the illusions card. I'll get this focused properly. You may be thinking you are being deceived by a loved one or someone close to you. You're feeling like you are powerless in this matter. Jealousy and anger are tying you up in knots. Look closely at the situation as it is illusion. Look closely at who is actually pulling the strings. There's possibly a third person involved in this situation you've not considered. The third person may be the puppet master. Before assuming the worst, take some time to think the situation through and talk openly and honestly with others involved. Together you will sort through these issues and resolve the matter that has been affecting your relationship. When this matter is brought into the open, the third person will cease to have the power they once did. The problem will simply disappear. And that could be even just within one side of the movement or what's going on. So I'm not, but I am, and you could say that I selected that card. I didn't select that card. And what I will do, that's why I might get another card, just, you know, we'll see how it goes, just to to back that one up or not, or to counter it, okay? I'm going to do tarot as well. I've got the Lenormand out here as well. I did get some cards ahead of time just to see, to give me some idea of where we might be going, but then I put them back in. So I don't want to color it. I don't want to, and I've got, of course, this deck for the animal energy of letting me know if there's anybody being controlled, or if people involved are acting freely of their own will, because I've got the monarch butterfly on this. Yes, monarch mind control, and there's an elephant, so memory, the ability to remember correctly. Okay, so because she did come out, and now the first time when she originally came out in the reading beforehand, I put her in the upright. She did come out in the reverse though, so I've kept her in the reverse. And of course, with her, we have the Knight of Swords, I want to say, yes. And we have the 13, which gives us a 4 of stability, but it's in reverse, so that takes us back to a 3. So some sort of working situation, some sort of collaboration needs to be, there needs to be a new one, because there's instability. 4 is all about stability. There's instability, and it's all to do with the collaboration amongst people. And so something hadn't worked, and it's breaking apart, okay? So, I've got the doors here, the divine doors as well. I feel like I want to do the doors first, or a door. I don't think I'll be laughing in this read like I was laughing in the others. The Judge has weighed in. I do believe the King of Swords, and I'll put a note if I can in the other read. We've since heard from the Judge that ruled, that put the injunction, granted the injunction to the citizens to put the kibosh on, temporarily, on the honking, right? So far as I understand from what I've seen, the same judge ruled that it is illegal. What is it illegal to do? That the protest is legal. It is legal. Same judge ruled that the protest is good, it's legal, and that the cops have to give back the fuel that they stole, and that they can't keep stealing it. That's my understanding. So I feel like that King of Swords might have been that judge, because that's running some serious interference into the narrative of what they're trying to. But again, he or she could be playing according to script, right? This whole thing is scripted. What isn't scripted is how many people got involved, how many protesters got involved, how many supporters got involved. And let's face it, supporters are protesters as well. Yes? So the numbers are just off the chart. As someone who is unjabbed myself, who's been fighting the fight since before this started, I was amazed to see how many people actually did get involved. I didn't think I had that much company in this country. So, but have I done the work on the organizers? Absolutely I have, and I've found them connected to some serious problem people that I've had personal run-ins with, both I'm in Canada, but through the US and the UK. So I'm finishing up a video on that. So I know how to piss people off on all sides. All right, we have a gate here. I'll get this out of the view. A green gate. The go-ahead. We have flowers. We have sort of a courtyard situation. Note on love. Seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. Well, that's echoing. I'm gonna turn it around so that I keep it in mind, and then. Okay, let's start with that. We might get more doors. We'll see. We'll see. Where do we want to go now? Where do we want to go? I'm just gonna, okay. This is Persian. Of course, Persian isn't the right word. That's the Greek word. But it's actually the word that she uses in the book. So, it's a bracelet. It's an amulet. It's not an amulet, it's a bracelet. Okay. I will take a break at some point and research just to make sure. Well, I should do that now, actually. Okay, hang on. Okay, I've taken time with the card. I've worked with it before. There's a strong romantic energy to it, but I don't necessarily. And there's the energy of this card is to be very. It is preferring the beauty of the world. It is preferring sensory pleasures, and possibly being overwhelmed by harshness. So I'm going to start there with that energy. There's a sense of unrequited love attached to it, an idealization of the other, projecting, but I want to know exactly, like, I feel like that's not exactly, often with her cards, we have a conversation over time about what she really wants to say through it. Susan, who created this deck, passed over last April, just about a year ago. And her decks, one of her decks was the first deck I ever got. So there, I feel a very strong witch bond between her and I. I don't know if she feels it, but I feel it. Same with Pamela Coleman Smith, who drew this deck. So I'm going to do the witch. I'm going to do the witch, the shaman. I'm a shaman. That's what I am. And I'm going to call, that's what I'm calling on right now. And Mel Brown is a shaman. Okay, so we're gonna keep this right here, and we're gonna understand it as we go, is what we're gonna do. I have the feeling the sensibilities of this might be the child's sensibilities, or the children's sensibilities. We have two rams butting heads. Okay, what do we want to say about this child that is, this child isn't protected? Okay, I did this before. Let's see what comes out this time. Is this a specific child, or are these the children of Canada, or the children of the world? Maybe nothing right now from this deck. One more go through the deck. They're stuck. Okay, not right now. Not right now. First, I thought maybe. This won't go. I don't know how long it'll go. It'll go what it'll go. So as far as I know, primarily, well, I do, like, because I work with murder victims, I help solve their murders. They lead me to evidence. I don't know if this is a child who has passed, or if this is, and I'm not sure. It's why I like to work with individuals. I love working with individual energies. So if I'm talking to Kali, I'm talking to Kali. If I'm using these cards, I like to be talking. I know Pamela's got other things to do, and so does Kali. But it's like any conversation you'd have with somebody in the flesh. I don't do tons of readings. I do a lot. I'm always psychic, but I don't have the time yet to do. Okay, one more. This is just, they don't need me to actually shuffle the cards. They know exactly what cards to give me. It's actually just to break up the energy of the read. Slapping over, okay, here we go again. I'm gonna, God, well, this is his energy again. This is Justin's energy, the Sagittarius energy. He's the December 25th. and I use sidereal. I use astronomical placements. So the sun is very much there. Okay, this is Major Arcana. It didn't fly out on the table. It's just popping out to say that it's part of the story. Okay. Kind of like how he pops in and out. Oh, they just want to do that. They just want to do that. No, I'm going to... Okay. Whoa. Well, I had a feeling this would be heavy. Okay. This is Venus. This is... for me, anytime the feminine shows up as a major arcana, major player, this is divine timing. So Kali, grandmother spider, it could be one of the Orisha. They are in the same direction, but we're looking, this is not a happy picture. This is a loss. She creates, she nurtures. She's actually pregnant in this card. This is when we get it, if you want the Book of Revelations, she's the mother giving birth, that the dragon is waiting to devour the child because she has the stars in her crown. She represents Venus energy, is all about your needs and your appetites. Your attractions, okay, like meeting what you need. Okay, we need to modify this. This is echoing this energy for sure. Comforts versus harshness. So this could be a state of being. When we come into this world, we have a Two of Pentacles situation. This is a magic situation. This is a spirit situation in the 3D. This is about being caught in this planet. This is a 2 of having to make up your mind about something. We have the basically what is probably a very probable model of what the universe actually looks like. This pocket of the multiverse in a Mobius strip, basically. Infinity, yes, but I think the latest astrophysics that I finished studying just a couple of months ago for my astrology work. Anton Petrov, if you go to his channel on YouTube, deals with this, but also our astronomer out of Toronto, Jennifer, oh, what's her last name? But she did the study working on their 2 filaments, and she realized that there's probably a electromagnetic tunnel that we're in. So imagine this being an electromagnetic tunnel that in something like a Mobius strip. And when this is, for me, this is Taurus house. For others, it's Capricorn, but for me, it's 2nd house. It's early on in the process. And so when we come into Earth, when we come into this life, there's who we are in Aries, but then there's who we manifest as, what we manifest into in Taurus, what we have to work with. Okay, what the surroundings are, what the means are, do we have, do we not have? What does our chart tell us about the complexities of our birth chart or astrological chart? What does it have to say about what our path is? And I'm not saying I agreed to sign on for anything. But this is child energy, absolutely. So this is, but there's movement here. There's not a lot of movement, but there is movement. But this person even needs to get to this point. There's a have and have not energy to this, but it's looking primarily like it's got a long ways to go before it has anything. Ships coming in, ships going out. We've got a stage card. Everything's not as it seems. So the illusion here, because they're standing on a platform, not an actual landscape. So there's an artificial quality to this. So the illusion of having or not having. We have an illusion energy here in this card, yes. And I'm not saying that that's a credit to, but I take her very seriously. She has her reasons for. She's also First Nation, part First Nations. Susan Shepherd again. Okay, so very much, and this energy is ruled by Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So now what is, okay, so really confronting that, facing off with that. Whoa, God. Now, I need to get my bearings here. Where the hell's my other deck? I need to make a point about this card before I jump into the obvious, because here, oh God, yeah, they're calling me out on the illusion right now. Okay. In my favorite deck that brought me into tarot, one of my clients has this deck. This is the devil card in that deck, and this is Kali as the devil. I know that because of the tongue motif. Okay. Sorry for the graphicness, but I'm not, because the tongue sticking out is the Kali tongue. And so, okay, take two, because I went and did my little speech about the devil card without fixing the focus. Yeah, I'm gonna get, I've done some things and I'm gonna redo them. Oh, they're making me work for this. Okay. I got some other cards in the meantime to affirm, because we're going to go back to this illusion energy, because this is all about, like, my initial reaction. I'll get Kali out here again. My initial reaction, of course, is like, oh God, right? I still have, even though I've trained and trained and trained, okay, to have a positive reaction and mindset about this card. It hits me when it comes out still, and that's a problem, because that's, but they wanted that to be, right? They give me the sensations they want me to have, so that I pick up on the right cues. This is a card of awareness. I'll see if I can say it faster than I said it the last time. It's a card of awareness of what is true and what is appearance, okay? And I'm going to take that right back to, even though it's Kali that I work with closest of all, and I've been through my shamanic experience with her. She did a dismemberment visit with me, a dream that is a hallmark of, I didn't find out till years later. But my time with David Schroeder, who is a shaman, I've been led to many shaman, but in particular David Schroeder. He unwittingly trained me in many things. I also had a very strong shamanic mentor. She didn't identify as shaman, but she's a musician, professional musician, Devorah Marcuse, all through my childhood. My mom was one who didn't complete before she passed when I was 13. So, but I'm born under the star I'm born under Kali's star. in Aries, Bharani, which is also Yama's star. It's Yama's constellation, and he goes between the living and the dead. Yeah. It's a shamanic energy. And so this is where I am. My third house, my mind, is also in Capricorn. This is Capricorn energy. So a lot of my work focuses on this. But having grown up in pretty much every kind of denomination of Christianity, the way I got set on my path was by a rereading. I never needed to be converted to anything because I always felt close to God, and I always I didn't need Jesus to die for me. I'm sorry, I didn't. I don't need anybody to get murdered to convince me of anything. And people would say, well, it's not to convince you, it's to perform a transaction on your behalf. And it's like, no. If we're talking about awareness and we're talking about spiritual rightness, no, absolutely not. I'm devastated by anybody who gets sacrificed. In the book of John, he says, stop judging by appearances and start judging by what's right. And it's words like that. I would easily have a hard time. I would be taking apart other things that get said in there. It's all been so Masonically written over. That's why numbers become, numerology plays so heavy in scriptures, because you can't get away from the numerology. It's what the universe is built off of, like it or lump it. And I would rather it not be that way. I love math, period. But anyway, so the same guy that said, if you do anything to harm any of these little ones, you're better off putting a millstone around your neck. Yeah, my cat's speaking up. Same guy said, stop judging by appearances and start judging by what's right. The figures in this echo the Adam and Eve in the Lover's card in this deck. And Adam and Eve is a smear campaign against the African prophetesses, who were they were the go-tos and the healers and the doctors around the Mediterranean. Like, the Mediterranean was heavily black people, citizens, and Etruscans especially, and that gets covered up. But the oracles were all African prophetesses, the Sibyls, the Pythonesses, okay, identified with the snake, for 6,000 years. For 6,000 years. And what happened was, so when you get Medusa, when you get Eve, when you get the snake and all that, it's all damning them and taking their history from them, their work from them, their futures. Yes? Okay. To this day, how many people still think voodoo is a bad thing? And voodoo is not, it's ancestor worship. There's so much to it. The Orisha, I work with the Orisha as well. So Mami Wata, the Sibyls, the Python symbol, the snake symbol, it gets through Medusa. Medusa's the story of how they stole all of that work and authority, okay, and take it upon themselves as if they could, okay, because the power to heal and to poison is in Medusa's hair, the snakes. She gets cursed, right, because she gets raped by Poseidon in Athena's temple, pisses off Athena, so Athena curses her to go from being gorgeous to being ugly. And then Perseus cuts her head off, but they save the head because there's medicine and poison in it. Athena hands it over to Asclepius, grants him the power to heal and to kill. Yes? Well, what is that? That's the story, that's the cover-up story of the truth, right? We have the Indus Valley Seals over in the Indus Valley, so between Pakistan, India, and Iran, and Afghanistan, more Afghanistan, but where we have particle physics and astrophysics being communicated through the Indus Valley Seals. I'm in that camp. Subhash Kak and Rama Mahan Roy. Yeah, I gotta get it straight. I found them through Krishna Iyer on Quora, but they've been writing about this for a long time. So the same thing happens there, where everything gets turned around and India gets accused of taking from Greek. And it's through the astrology we know India's been developing, well, India is a blanket name anyway. Tamil, various peoples, yes. The Naga, the serpent culture, but the Naga peoples, there are different tribes called Naga, towards the Himalayas, right? Okay. There is divine knowledge from them, through them. But astrology has been developed, and I don't mean just deriving meanings from things. I mean star math, star mapping, charting, doing the trigonometry, all that stuff. It can go back as far as 24,000 years in terms of the information that they laid out, knowing where we are, how the universe, getting an idea of how the universe works, okay? So the astrology, you're not going to know the truth necessarily unless you embrace the astrology, the astrological history of people and their accomplishments of how they figured out the universe. Okay, so all of that all gets flipped around. Then we get Hermeticism that takes credit. It pretends to give credit, but what it really does is claims for itself, okay? And that's who's in charge of everything at this point, through various branches of the Brotherhood tree. So that's what this card really brings. It scares on purpose, and sometimes it actually is the devil. Absolutely. I'm gonna say, like, for me, this is God energy, right? Okay, so that's why I bring this card in. We could say this is absolutely the devil, and this is absolutely my God. Okay, they're both going to be journeying with these children through their lives, helping them see what is from what isn't. Okay, so the harshness. And then I went, now because we're speaking to these illusions again, so the puppet master, who's the puppet master? And do we allow for an actual devil? So then I thought, well, okay, if I'm going to rely heavily on that card, and you didn't see me pull it, so let me get another card from this. And I did. I got Sadness in Reverse, I got Mother Goddess, and I got Adventure. Adventure came up first, then Mother. Okay, so, but again, that happened while the camera was blurry, well, because I hadn't changed the focus. So let's do it again. I don't know that this reading is actually pointing to anything in particular that needs to be debunked. I think conversations, seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. There are things. Now, did I say it in this? I think I said it before I realized that the camera wasn't blurry. I likened it to a story from my son's past when he was either age 4 or 6. Age 4 or 6. We were in the church, St. Aidan's Anglican. I'd been there for 18 years, and now I'm trying to remember if I've actually just said this. I'm going to say it anyway, because then I can cut it. If I repeated myself, I can cut this. But at the back of the church, at the end of a service, I'm standing with the mom of my friend. She and I were best friends for about 6 years. So Sarah Guimar, who is this is several years ago, Guimar, who is the MLA in Manitoba. She's a Conservative Party. She's also the Minister of Mental Health or Health and Wellness. I think mental health. And she's absolutely, like, she and I will not agree on this situation at all, but I love her a lot. And we were best friends for 6 years when our kids, our oldest kids, well, I only have the one, when they were youngest. Her mom was standing next to me, Jenny, as my kid ran up the aisle, the empty of the church. Everybody had been leaving. It was after the service, and he ran up and he said, "Hi, God, where are you?" And he yelled it out, filled the whole building, the whole sanctuary, with the sound of his voice. And I turned to Jenny. I'm not even sure I totally turned, but I said to her, I said, "So what do I answer? How do I answer him?" And she said, "It's not up to you to answer." And I was like, "Good one, Jenny. That's the perfect response." And I was so glad it was no accident that she was there to say that to me. And soon after, Sarah left the church first. There was a major altercation between her and the ladies' Bible study group, and I took her side. And then within months, when it was my own time, I left. I followed her to another church, and then I was, but only there for a few months, and then we were out of the church for good. Not because I don't love Jesus anymore, it's that ekes through there. So he said, "Stop judging by appearances and start judging by what's right." And he also said, if you harm any of these little ones, it's better to put a millstone around your neck. This world is full of child trafficking. So there's something that's got to give between what we understand of the universe and of God and this, what I'd say is a prison planet, the Naga. A lot of the wisdom teaches that, yeah, it is a prison planet. So especially in the Naga, in Pushya Nakshatra in Cancer, that's where you get to the wisdom of knowing that this is a prison planet. And I already made up my mind about that on my own. So we have this theme of really needing to get to the truth about everything for these children, for this child, for these children. So they play our futures against us. They help us with the future. One helps us with the future. One plays the future against us. One plays the past against us. One helps us with the past. So I want to get another card, I think, to affirm this illusions card. I don't know that children aren't delicate. They are, but they're not. They need protection. Yes, they are not protected. And I've just finished editing a video of the address that Trudeau gave where he openly threatened the protesters with their children. Social services is corrupt completely. It's a profit system. Lawyers, even your own lawyers, will get a 40% pay bonus for losing and handing your kids over to social services. You learn this the hard way. I learned it the hard way. Some people don't need to be told because they have communities that have been so affected for so long, obviously. So I do know at this point in this reading, I do know that the children are targeted again. They always were targeted. There's a lawyer from MLT Aikens, not a lawyer, an article that they reprinted in 2017, laying the groundwork for what was necessary to increase child vaccinations to 95% or complete, as close to 100% as possible. And they said they would need a pandemic in order to be able to achieve that, because we'd have to work around the charter. That was 2017. And now specific children are being targeted. I do know that the king, I can understand that the King of Swords that he was waiting on previous in the reading is that judge. Now, what was told to the protesters was that the judge declared the protest legal. And Justin comes out today and says the protest is illegal. So I'm trying to track that down. But that's, I believe, who the King of Swords was. Is the judge. Okay. Let me split this. I'm not going to use it in the reverse. Okay, windfall. And we'll end with this. Okay, so windfall here, we have sort of a cross echoing a sword, a figure, a hooded figure. Almost like ley lines. Again, remembrances of Tonga. But there's obviously, we'll just see here. Windfalls are subjective and vary from big wins to major accomplishments in life. Similar to wealth, windfalls can mean different things to each individual. Windfalls don't always come with bells and whistles, so be aware to recognize them when they do come. Don't let them be overshadowed by other people's views on what they consider a windfall. Don't look past a windfall for something more or something better. Recognize a simple improvement in your life is a windfall. Whether it's money, opportunities, or a life lesson, it's a bonus that has been given to you by the universe. There is an opportunity for a very fruitful event to come your way. Have you bought a lottery ticket, applied for a job, or waiting for something important in the mail? If you've been practicing manifesting, then you've struck the right formula. Here comes your luck. Finally, you seem to have been a bit short of good times lately, but things are about to change for the better. Don't dwell on the past. Allow yourself to enjoy the moment. A warning: don't forget to remain humble, and don't let your ego distract you from this windfall. What I like is this takes a moment. A windfall. We have the blue echoing. We have an open gate. That's an opportunity. Now, the Empress brings a windfall. The Empress brings the opportunity. She brings the chance. She's on the table. She's on the table. This blue energy, this is all communication energy. All communication energy. Throat chakra. Speaking, listening, hearing, knowing, being yourself. You have to be true. The art of communication and knowledge. There is a very strong warning here. There's a strong warning in that card. There are warnings here everywhere. Warnings in that card. Ace of Wands when I split the deck. And the Fool. Alright, to jump Aquarius energy and Aries energy, because it's Aquarius in the tarot and it's first house in astrology, which is Aries. The loyal dog. Be loyal to what you love. But yes, there's an opportunity here. There's some confusion because there are clouds around this opportunity, the offering, right? Like there's some, mostly you have clear skies. There's a castle in the background. Aries energy again, so starting fresh. The exhaustion. Not having a plan. No protection again. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I just feel like there's nothing to be settled about yet. There's nothing to be settled while we don't have careful conversations for the sake of the kids. Oh shit, that was the name of the program that Child and Family Services put, that you have to go through for the sake of the children. Where I live, you have to go through a two evening course in order to qualify for mediation. And then it turns out your partner, your ex, didn't do the course and doesn't qualify, and he's the one that pushed it all in the first place. And next thing you know, you're in litigation because somebody called in your name and canceled mediation and, you know, pretended to be you, and you don't find out except by accident a few months later when you're already in court. And judge wants to hand your kid over to the court psychologist. Really, and that's the first time I invoked psychic. Well, it's not the first time, but I truly relied on psychic guidance there. Because I didn't know the level of corruption at that point. So I was going to hand my kid over to the court psychologist, and then something, and I had made that arrangement in the courtroom, and then the warning came. So I got on the phone and I said to my lawyer, I said, no, we're going to do something different. My kid's going to forgive his dad for everything that's come between them and the stopping the visits, and he'll go back to visiting him, and we're out of the system. And my lawyer was very angry about that, and I later on found out why. But I didn't get to see his brief until I went to apply for all the court papers for my for our passports to go travel to Egypt. So that's when I saw the brief that he gave the judge, and it was completely throwing me under the bus. It was throwing the whole situation under the bus. Nothing specific, just a couple of sentences. But that's what happens. And he's a private hire lawyer. So, yeah, possible puppet master. Well, a probable. There's a puppet master. The thing is how do you deal with puppet masters? How do we grow up and deal with the lodges and deal with the fact that the multinationals are doing what they want to do? They're in collusion. The Great White Brotherhood's on all sides of this chessboard. And they're hoping we're scared enough and divided enough. Okay. I'll do an update on this soon. As soon as I get the chance. Okay. Thank you. Much love and my prayers for everybody.